Hey, welcome back to Inside the Vandals. Well, it's time to take a look at one Vandal player who has very strong Idaho ties and is making a huge impact on this Vandal offense. Fellow teammate and broadcast student Matt Linehan with the story.
Tradition means following in the footsteps set before you and continuing on with a legacy. For one Vandal player, his Idaho roots run deep.
My dad went there, my grandpa went there, obviously my brother and sister, my mom, so many family members that went to the University of Idaho. That's pretty much what I dreamt about when, coming to the University of Idaho and playing football. That's always been my dream, so it's great to be here.
Trent's brother Bobby, a former All-American punter with the Vandals, would have the greatest impact on Trent's first years at Idaho.
My first year he was still on, he lived in Moscow and helped Rico with punting, and he had a house with a couple other guys that played here, and I could always go over there and hang out with them, and it was just really nice to have him here in Moscow to help transition that first year.
Cowan, looking to increase his role in the offense, approached Coach Petrino with an idea. He wanted to switch to tight end.
And we went right after it. Our first meeting, I thought we were just going to talk about like preliminary stuff, and I got in there first meeting and he's like, "You got your notebook?" And I was like, "Oh no, I should probably go get that." And we went probably an hour and a half just watching tape and all that stuff. So he's been a big help, and I think we have a really good relationship.
His hard work over the last year has not gone unnoticed, and tight ends coach Al Papunu has seen steady improvement.
As far as him getting better, he's doing it every week, consistently, because he's a hard worker. He doesn't slack off. Sometimes he'll make mistakes, but that's okay, because that's why we watch film and that's why we practice every day, to get better. And if you ever get complacent to where you're at, then that's when you kind of lose step backs, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes you lose your spot that way, but he's not like that. He works hard every day.
Cowan has put together a solid start for a first-year tight end. So far, Cowan has 22 catches for 347 yards and 3 touchdowns, which is more than he had in his last 2 years combined at wide receiver.
I'm pretty light as a tight end, but you try to make up for an effort. And the passing game was a little bit easier to understand just because of the route tree that I knew from receiver. So it was a tough transition, but it's paid dividends for sure.
Cowan's position change has paid off so far this season. He was able to score his first career touchdown in the Coliseum versus USC, and he is looking forward to growing as a player and as a teammate in his last couple of years as a Vandal.
Yeah, it's crazy. I feel like it blew by. My first year, we came in the summer of 13, and we're in the dorms, and it feels like just yesterday we were there. It's gone by so fast, but next year I'll graduate in the spring of 17, and just keep improving as a player and as a team. You want to see that growth, and the end result, I definitely want a bowl ring for sure.
It should not go without noting that Cowan's relationship with his quarterback Matt Linehan has helped him tremendously.
My relationship with my quarterback is pretty great. Lived with him last year. Great guy. Yeah, this guy. Yeah, Matt's something else.
I'm Matt Linehan with Inside the Vandals.
Hey, back here with Vandals head coach Paul Petrino on Inside the Vandals. A nice piece right there. You have your quarterback doing a little reporting there with Trent Cowan. But the piece on Trent Cowan, obviously, he's really emerged in these last few games and really this season. What does he bring to this offense?
He brings a lot. He's done a great job of making big plays for us, does a great job of running those seam routes, does a good job on option routes. And that's kind of what everybody else sees, but he does a lot of the dirty work for our team. I was saying to the offensive staff the other day, the 2 guys that we would really could not afford to lose right now are Trent Cowan and Manley. They do a lot of the dirty work, do a lot of just the tough, hard-nosed stuff that helps our offense go. And Trent's just done a great job all year for us, and I think he's just going to get better and better. And him and Matt interviewing him, they're buddies, they're roommates, and they got a pretty good connection there, and they've hooked up for some big plays lately.
Yeah, with Trent, when you talk about the dirty work, are you talking just the blocks,
Yeah.
pulling out, or just that kind of things that you don't show up in the stat box that will spring a big play?
No question, and also some of the routes when he's running it to clear it out for somebody else, and he just plays a lot of snaps. He plays a lot of snaps a game, and he takes a lot of reps in practice, because really right now we have him. We moved one tight end over to defense, so really him and Dion take all the reps in practice. So he's just a grinder. He's really what I believe our program's all about, and he's a great kid off the field. He's a great student, and just Trent's just one of those guys you're really happy to coach.
It just seems like he has some good hands. I mean, if the ball is in his radius, it seems like right now like he's coming down with it.
Yeah, he's done a great job. He can really see the ball over. He makes that over-the-shoulder catch look easy, and it's not. You know, and he makes it all the time, and that's a tough catch. And you know, you're just happy all the hard work he put in all summer since we talked about him making the move, and the hard work he puts in every day at practice. It's great to see him be successful.
Obviously, South Alabama up next, but when you look at your team right now, how are they doing? Do they seem like they've moved on from the game against New Mexico State?
We're moving on. You know, there's still a lot of guys that, you know, it hurts, but it should hurt. You know, it should hurt, but we're going to move on. We're going to come out and have a great practice on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, and get ourselves in the best position to go down there and get a victory. You know, the league's pretty tight. You look at all the scores around the league last weekend, and I think, you know, on any given Saturday, somebody can beat somebody else. And so we just need to go down there and have a great plan, have great preparation all week long, and go down there and come away with a victory.
What does South Alabama bring to the table?
They're fast. They're fast all over the place. Their defense is really fast. They run around. They love to play the game the way it's supposed to be played. They hit. They play with great passion. Offensively, they got a lot of speed at the skill position. So I'd say when you think of South Alabama, the first thing in my mind is speed. You know, the second thing offensively you probably think of is UAB. Their whole team came from UAB. You know, you played them last year and they had like 20 starters that were seniors, and you're like, okay, that's going to be a little different come next year. But then they just regroup their whole offense with all UAB players. So
how do they attack on offense? Are they pretty balanced? Do they pass more, run more? Do they just, does it depend on the game?
You know, they're a hurry-up offense that does both. They want to run the ball and throw it. Their quarterback's, he's a good player. He understands the game. He likes to throw the ball down the field, so they're going to stretch you and try to throw the ball down the field. But they do both. They'll run it and throw it.
It really seems like your guys' offense has really been playing well, especially these last two games. I mean, 48 points against New Mexico State. What's been the key to the offense playing so well?
You know, I think it all starts with the offensive line. I think our offensive line is just getting better every week. Coach Singovich is doing a great job with them. We've done a good job of staying on the field, converting third downs. In the last two games, we've had 90 plays and 92 plays. So anytime you can do that, that helps your defense too. But it starts up front. You know, Madlock, Dallas Sandberg, Mason Woods, Jordan Rose, Calvin White, those guys have just been doing a great job. You know, Jake Manley, you throw in there really as an offensive lineman, just does a great job of blocking. Penny's been running the ball really well, and then probably Matt. You know, Matt's just been playing very well. Trent Cowan, who we talked about earlier. Deion Watson had a great game 2 weeks ago, and then, you know, Hightower stepped up this last week. So I just think as a whole group, they're all just getting better and better, and, you know, encouraging for next year. Really, you lose Penny and Dallas, and that's it. So it should just be an offense that's just going to get better and better and be one of the best around in the next couple of years.
He's Vandals head coach Paul Petrino. Coach, thanks so much for your time.
All right, thank you.
Up next here on Inside the Vandals, Idaho Soccer getting set to host their Big Sky Tournament opener. And we'll have head coach Derek Pittman on to discuss Vandal soccer. That's up next on Inside the Vandals.